Hey, how's it going? So I wanted to give you a little training video here on using Helium 10 to find product opportunities in 2020, especially now in 2020 as the market has changed on Amazon a little bit, how we're using Helium 10 to find new product opportunities to sell on Amazon. Now, real quick, I just want to jump in and say that sometimes people are saying like, well, is the opportunity kind of dried up on Amazon? Let me give you a couple of really quick stats, all right? So first of all, in 2019, Amazon was 40% of all online retail. I want you to think about that for a second. Of every website, every online retailer, Amazon took 40% of all of it. Now, just to give you a comparison, the next highest online retailer, guess who it is? You probably guessed it, was Walmart. Walmart was only 5% of all online retail. So that just blows my mind. So Amazon is growing like crazy. They are the largest online retailer on planet Earth, and they're growing like crazy every year. Jeff Bezos and his team is just investing so much into it. The opportunity is still so big on Amazon. But finding product opportunities is a little different than it was 3-4 years ago. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, Helium 10 is a great suite of tools. We've been using them for a while now. We're going to be talking about two tools in Helium 10. The first one is called the black box. That's this one up here. You can find it once you've logged in. I'm not going to teach you about all the Helium 10 stuff. This is not a Helium 10 video. This is a video for Badass Business Builders, just showing you how we're using it. We're going to use the black box to find the product opportunities, and then we're going to use another tool called the Helium 10 X-Ray. And in order to use the X-Ray, you have to have downloaded the Google Chrome extension, the Helium 10 extension, and that gives you access to what's called the X-Ray. So we're going to talk about those two tools in that order, the black box and then the X-Ray tool. Now, real quick, if you're using a different browser other than Google Chrome, I recommend just go ahead and get Google Chrome real quick. You're definitely going to need it to use this part of their app. To use the Chrome extension, Google Chrome is great. It might not be your favorite browser, but just use it for this particular exercise. In order to find the download or to download the Chrome extension, just go to your Chrome web store. You can literally just Google Helium 10 Chrome extension. There'll be a link right there. Normally it would say download right here, but I already have it, so it doesn't give me that option. And you can just download it to your computer, and then it'll show up on your Chrome list of extensions. So ours is right here. It's kind of grayed out because we're on the wrong page. But when you're in Amazon, it'll be blue. All right, so I'm going to go fast because I'm going to cram a lot of information into the shortest amount of time possible. So pause the video, rewind it, watch it over and over again, and watch the whole thing because at the end I have a couple of cool things that I want to go over with you. So let's start right now with the black box. So what the black box is, let's go ahead and click on it. So the black box, what it does is it actually pulls real-time data from Amazon and it organizes it and filters it based on filters that you can set here. Okay, so I'm going to just go over a couple of good guidelines in terms of product research for 2020. The reason this is like important to go over kind of the criteria of what type of products to look for, we can gear this video toward beginners, we can gear it toward intermediate sellers, or we could gear it toward advanced sellers. I'm assuming that most of the people watching this video are kind of towards the beginner side of selling on Amazon. So that's kind of what we're going to focus on in terms of the criteria. But the same principles and rules apply regardless of the actual search criteria that you're searching. And that'll make sense as I go through this. So the first thing I just want to quickly explain, you obviously choose the correct marketplace that you're selling. We're selling in the US, so we're going to do that. Okay. This is like you can save projects up here if you've done product research in the past. I don't have anything like that. We're just going to do this all real time. This is defaulted to show you products. That's what we're going to look for is products on Amazon. Okay, this other stuff we're not going to talk about in this video. Let's go through the different criteria here. So categories. There's a lot of different categories that you could sell on Amazon. There's a few categories that I recommend you stay away from, and I'm just going to read them off quickly and explain why. Appliances, don't sell in appliances. It's a restricted category. You have to have a proven track record as a seller, and I don't think any of us are going to be sourcing washers and dryers to sell on Amazon. So, you know, unless you're General Electric or Whirlpool, just skip that category. Arts and crafts is fine. Automotive is another restricted category. Sometimes people use the word restricted or gated. It really means the same thing. It just means that you have to meet certain criteria as a seller before Amazon will allow you to sell in that category. Now, I have access to sell in automotive because we meet those criteria, but for most newer sellers, you're not going to have access. And in order to get access to sell in automotive, you're going to have to meet those criteria. And basically that means you have a longevity selling. As a seller, Amazon can see that you're a legitimate seller, you're taking care of customers. So that's what it means when we say restricted. So if you're a beginner, stay away from automotive. Baby, you should be pretty fine for the most part. Beauty and personal care, you should be pretty fine, although this can be a very, very competitive category. But we're not going to limit any category here except the gated ones. I would stay away from books. We're not going to talk about selling books unless you're an author, and the criteria for selling books is totally different than physical products. Camera and photo, technically that's not a gated category, but it, you know, again, it could be very competitive. Cell phones and accessories should be fine. Well, mostly the accessories. I doubt you're going to be selling cell phones. Clothing, shoes, and jewelry is restricted, so stay away from that category if you're a beginner. Computers and accessories should be fine. Electronics should be fine. Grocery and gourmet should be fine, although some food products are restricted, but you know, you can try. Health and household is totally fine. Home and kitchen is fine. That's actually where a lot of our products are. We started in home and kitchen about 6 years ago. Industrial and scientific can get tricky, but there's actually a lot of good stuff you can find in that one. Kitchen and dining, fine. Musical instruments, I would stay away from that. I think that's a restricted category if I remember correctly. You can double check any of my information, by the way. Office products, fine. Patio, lawn and garden, fine. And pet supplies, totally fine. Sports and outdoors, fine. Tools and home improvement, fine. And toys and games, fine. Although, little caveat here, they do lock this category at certain times of the year, i.e. around Christmas time, so they will not allow new sellers into that category. I believe it's after October, maybe it's September, you can double check. So anyway, you can either select all categories, which I don't recommend, or you can just choose a particular category that you want to search in. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to go ahead and do pets because we have a cute little dog that we've had for a couple of years, and I'm all into pets right now, so it's a fun category. All right, now it's going to ask you for a minimum and maximum revenue. So myself, I don't really want to look at products that are pulling in less than $2,000 a month in gross revenue. That's an arbitrary rule of my own. It's not based on any scientific data necessarily. Just as a seller, you know, again, we've been selling for almost 6 years now. We've sold millions of dollars of product on Amazon. If the product is doing less than $2,000 a month, just the cost of sourcing it and all the stuff that goes with it, the Amazon fees and whatnot, you really want a product to make it worth your while. So arbitrarily, I'm going to say minimum 2,000, and you'll see where I'm going with this later. I'm actually not going to set a maximum. Now, if you are a beginner, you might want to set a maximum to like 10,000 or 15,000, and that just means you're going to find niche products that are not hyper competitive, okay? I don't particularly want to do that in this video because I want to open this up to products that maybe are pulling in a bit more revenue. So just know that if you're getting too many products that are just hyper competitive, you can go back and limit the monthly revenue to 10 or 15 or 20,000. But for this video, I'm not going to put a max. The price, okay, again, arbitrary, but for me, I will not source products that sell for less than $20 anymore. I know there are a ton of sellers that make a lot of money selling products that are around $8, $9, $10, $15. We used to do that, but personally, in my experience, especially over the last few years as the cost of advertising on Amazon has gone up, sourcing, especially from China with the different tariffs and things like that, has gone up. The profit margins have gotten slimmer. And what's interesting is if you're selling a product at $10 on Amazon, the cost of advertising that product is pretty much the same as if you're selling a product for $50. You know, so you might as well source products that are a little bit more expensive, have a little bit more margin, and also that'll keep some of the brand new sellers that don't have money to invest. It might kind of keep them away from your product. So I generally choose products between $20 and $90 to do my research. Again, these are completely arbitrary. Feel free to play with those numbers. I just want you to understand the theory behind why I'm choosing that price range. So this is the retail price on Amazon. It's not what you're going to be paying for the price. But obviously, if you're sourcing a $90 product, especially from another country, you're going to be paying more for that product than you would for a $10 product. So the cost of entry on more expensive products goes up. Review count. Okay, this is important. I am not going to look for products that have more than 100 reviews to start. So we're going to put minimum 0 and maximum 100. Now this is just to start. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a product so far that sells at least $2,000 a month. It sells for $20 to $90 per unit, and it has no more than 100 reviews. And the reason for that is I don't want to find products that have 10, 15,000 reviews or even 1,500 reviews because those are going to be very, very tough to compete against. You know, over the last few years, Amazon has really gone through a lot of changes in trying to curtail what they deem as review manipulation. And it used to be the Wild West, where you could just go in there as a seller, you could throw a product up on their marketplace, and you could ask your friends for reviews, you could pay people to write reviews, all kinds of weird crap. Now they don't let you do that. They're very, very guarded in how you get reviews. There's all kinds of criteria built into their algorithm, which means it's a lot slower to get reviews for honest sellers. But the plus side is that there's more products that you can look at that have less than 100 reviews. So it's kind of leveled the playing field quite a bit. Review rating, you know, some people leave this blank. Just for fun, we can go ahead and put minimum 4, maximum 5. I don't know really why they would put a maximum. Like, why would I want to look for products that have a maximum of 3 stars? But, you know, Helium 10 gives us that option. So in this case, I'm going to look for products that only have between 4 and 5 star rating. That means 4 solid gold stars. Regardless of how many reviews, it's 4 gold solid stars between 4 and 5. In other words, I don't want to look for products that have 2.5, 3 star reviews because I know those are crappy products. And even if I source my own, most likely, unless I'm doing some major modification or, you know, unless I'm customizing it, we're going to have those same issues. Now, again, these are all arbitrary guidelines. So if you're looking for products that maybe are getting bad reviews and you want to find a niche where you go, hey, this is a popular product that doesn't have good reviews and I'm going to work with my supplier to make it better and read those customer ratings or reviews, that could actually be an opportunity for you. So in that case, you might actually look for products that have low reviews and then, you know, fix the problem that the customers are complaining about. You know, the cap doesn't stay on, or the handle is uncomfortable, whatever it is, you could fix those. In this case, just to make it simple, again, I'm kind of gearing this toward newer sellers. If you're just going to do a simple private label product where you're not going to do too much customization or modification, we're going to look for high quality reviews or high quality products with good reviews. This one could be very important. So shipping tiers. Amazon has a lot of different tiers in terms of shipping. So in other words, if you are, and by the way, this video is going to be geared mostly toward FBA sellers. FBA stands for Fulfilled or Fulfillment by Amazon. And what that means is you as a seller can send your inventory to Amazon. They will store it at their warehouse and they will take care of all the shipping and receiving and everything, basically all the customer service for you. The bottom line is we're looking for standard size products. So large or small standard size. We're not going to do medium or oversized for this video, although you can search outside of these parameters if you want. I'm just showing you how this works. And what that means is you're going to pay standard size shipping for Amazon. You're going to pay standard size warehouse fees, FBA fees, okay? There are a bunch of advanced filters here, which I'm not going to be talking about in this video, but just know that they are there. Once you get the hang of this and you're more advanced, you can by all means go play with those. So now what we're just going to do is we're just going to go ahead and click search and let's see what it pulls up. Okay, so again, we are in the pet category. Now let's look at some of these results. Here is an overview of the product, okay? And if you click on this product, it'll actually open it up on Amazon and you can kind of get a better idea of what it is. So this is called a refill for a diffuser. It's a specific branded refill. Okay, so that's what the product is. It gives you dimensions, it gives you all this kind of stuff. It says FBM, that means fulfilled by merchant, so this is not an FBA product. It's a brand called Fellaway. I don't know anything about this product. I'm not really jumping at it because it doesn't look like a simple private label product, although refillable filters could be a good opportunity if it's not like a patented or something like that, which we talk about patents on our website, so if you want to go check that out. By the way, we got tons more videos and we're going to be doing more if you go to badassbusinessbuilders.org. That's badassbusinessbuilders.org. That's where most of our content is. We're also on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, and we'll talk more about that later. So, okay, so this is basically saying there's 5 sellers selling on this listing, 5 competitors all trying to sell the exact same thing. It's right there in a good price range, about $40, a little less than 40. Does 270 units per month. When it says monthly sales, that's in units per month. Okay, the average revenue per Helium 10 is $11,877. The best seller ranking, which I'm not going to get into too much. We don't really use that too heavily right now. And then the review count is 60 reviews at 4.3 stars. So it looks on the surface like a pretty good product. Okay, so here is an example of a spreadsheet that I just created. Just real simple, you know, product name, copy, paste, literally just copy, paste. ASIN, that stands for Amazon Standard Identification Number, and that is this number right here. So every product in Amazon's category has its own ASIN or ASIN. Let me move this closer so it's easier to look at. This is a link to the product on Amazon, which you could literally just copy from right there. This is not the one that we're looking at. This is one I created earlier. Does it pass the X-ray, which we're going to talk about that later. Okay, so this is just an example of a simple spreadsheet. So as you're going through the black box search results, copy and paste anything that looks interesting onto your spreadsheet, because then we're going to go through and we're going to qualify each one of these later. So you're not doing any qualification right now. The only qualification you're going to do are based on the criteria that we talked about here. And then, does this seem like a product that interests you? I mean, that's really important, right, guys? If it doesn't interest you, don't even look at it. If it's really a category or a product that you have no interest in, don't just sell products to sell products. Sell stuff that you're actually interested in. Is this something that I could put my brand behind? Is this something that I would like to talk about? Okay, pet diffusers, not so much. I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to skip that one. All right, cat litter pellets, refill, nah. You know, so I want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of some of this. So it would be awesome to sell products, okay, that are what we call consumable products. And what that means is a customer can buy it and consume it or use it and then purchase it over and over and over again. So cat litter could be a great idea. I don't know anything about the cat litter industry, so I don't know what regulations there are or anything like that. But if we just look at the numbers, that could be a great product. I don't know how heavily branded cat litter is. I mean, I know there's some big brands out there. But a refillable product or a consumable product could be a really good idea. So we'll go ahead and keep that one for now. I don't really care about the number of sellers because we would be creating our own brand, just FYI. That's what we're talking about here is private labels. So the number of sellers selling this exact product on Amazon doesn't really bother me at all yet. Okay, it's over $20. It does some sales, right? $5,700 a month. And it's got really high ratings. So yeah, go ahead and put that on your spreadsheet. I'm looking for a product that's a little different now. So here's a good idea. Here's a cute product. This is a cat cave interior cat door. Interesting. I've never heard of this before. but let's go take a look at it. So it looks like you can drill a hole in your door and put this little thing in there so your cat can jump through it. Looks like that's what it is. That's kind of interesting. Cool. Never seen or heard of this product before. It's super cute. See, this is awesome. I never would have even thought of something like this, which is why this black box tool is amazing. It meets all of our criteria. Put it on the list. Let's talk about some things to stay away from. Things like shampoos, supplements, dog food. I would definitely stay away from all of those until you have some, again, this is kind of geared toward beginners, right? If you've been selling products for a long time and you want to now expand into, you know, pet supplements, or that's kind of your area of expertise, you have some background in that, absolutely go after it. But for a newer seller, we're looking more for kind of like products that are more easily brandable. You know, a de-shedding tool, absolutely throw that on the checklist. No-turn bell boots, I think that's for a horse. It goes on, I don't know what that is, right? It goes over their hoofs or something. But yeah, stay away from dog food. You know, consumable products for dogs that like could cause reactions, and you know, just sourcing products that are ingestible. I would save that till after you have some experience, because that's a whole additional layer of complication. But you know, here's some kind of cool things that I never even knew existed, right? A Weaver leather Prodigy athletic boot. Don't know what that is, but apparently there's a market. I mean, over $4,000 a month for that one product, selling at $50, $60, right? So that's pretty cool. All right, you get the idea. I don't want to spend too much time, but whatever you're interested in, just go ahead and put it on your spreadsheet, okay? So we can go ahead and close all of these tabs, and let's talk about the spreadsheet. So we're going to assume that we have a lot of products on here now. The product that I actually put here originally, I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you. This was from when I was doing a test video earlier. So I did use those boots, and it looks like it's a boot for a horse. It doesn't even say the word horse on here, which is kind of crazy. So I'm assuming it's for a horse because that looks like a horse hoof, but maybe it's for a dog and it's a bad photo. But whatever it is, you know, this is kind of a tough one to research just because I don't know what the main search term is. So let's go back and find one that's a little easier. Let's do something like this hair shedding or de-shedding tool, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my spreadsheet. Okay, so once we have a product on our spreadsheet, and again, you'd probably have a bunch of them here because you'd go through, you know, all of these products, and there might be hundreds of them. I mean, I think it says up here the number of products. That's over 200 products found. So you're going to spend some time. You're going to really put a bunch of products on here. But this one is a little bit more obvious. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you briefly how to use the Helium 10 X-ray tool. So again, you use this after you have a bunch of potential opportunities from the black box. So what I want to do is, just looking over the listing, we want to find what we think is the top search term, right? Just the most obvious search term. Furminator is not a search term. That is the brand name. I would look at probably hair de-shedding tool. And what I want to do is I want to start typing that into Amazon, but I want to make sure I'm searching all departments, just in case there's some products in another department by accident that are some big competitors. That does happen once in a while. So let's go ahead and just start typing hair de-shedding. And I see, notice here, when I'm typing it, backspace and do it one more time. When I'm typing, Amazon actually populates that search box with suggestions. That's very important. So Amazon is telling me these are the search terms that customers typed the most. So hair de-shedding brush is probably the highest volume, most relevant search term. Specifically, this one says short hair de-shedding tool, and this one's for cats, I believe. But I want to look at more of a broad category. So I'm just going to look at whatever Amazon suggests, as long as it's pretty close to that product, and we're going to go ahead and search that type of product on Amazon in all departments. So this pulls up all kinds of stuff. Okay, some of them are de-shedding brushes, some of them are long hair, some of them are short hair, some of them are gloves. I actually have a set just like that. So these are not all like-to-like products, but it gives you kind of a more general idea of the market. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click this button up here, which is the Helium 10 Chrome extension, and let's go ahead and look at X-Ray. What X-Ray is going to do is it's going to pull all this data from Amazon based on that search result, and it's going to analyze it, and it's going to look at all this different stuff. So I'm going to walk you through sort of what to look for. So there's all kinds of averages up here, which I'm not going to pay attention to initially, and I'll tell you why. The first thing I want to do is I want to sort this by revenue. So the highest revenue product is at the top, and it's descending downward from there. The reason I want to do that is because I want to look at who's really selling a lot in this, with this type of product. The next thing I want to do, and this is very important, I want to very briefly just browse my mouse over the products, and I want to eliminate anything from this list that is not a truly like-to-like comparison. And this is a perfect example. Technically, this is a de-shedding tool, and this is a de-shedding tool, but they're completely different designs. So while they are sharing some of the same search traffic, if we're going to go up against a competitor, we really want to look at like-to-like. So I'm just going to go ahead and just remove anything that's obviously not the same type of product, like these gloves. Now, these ones are similar enough where I'm just going to leave them, even though one might be for long hair, one might be for short hair, that might be for a dog, this might be for a cat, I don't know. But they're similar enough where I'm just going to leave them. So what we want to have is a list of products that all look like they're kind of the same type of product. Another thing to look out for is if you notice this and this are the exact same product. So if you see something that says SP, that means sponsored product. And what that means is, if we look right here, I'm not going to close X-Ray, but you can see both. It's a duplicate of the same listing on the top of page 1. They're just paying for an ad to show up right here. So this is a sponsored one, and that's not a sponsored one. You can go ahead and remove the sponsored listing because we only need one of each product. Okay, otherwise it messes up all the averages if it's showing it twice. Here's another de-shedding tool, similar enough in design where I'm going to leave it. That's fine. Although this one does come with some clippers, that's cool. We'll talk about that later. De-shedding tool, this is absolutely not a de-shedding tool. This is shampoo, so let's remove that. Another glove, let's remove that. This one looks almost identical to the first one, but it's technically a different product. And as you can see, there's a sponsored one here, so we'll remove that one. And we're just going to go through this entire list and keep doing this at least until we get down to here. So we have at least 10 or so of the top revenue selling products, okay? This one's close enough. It's a very different design, but at least it's kind of a brush, I think. Yeah, it's like horsehair. Is that for horse? It's for all dogs and cats, fine. Again, another sponsor product, we'll remove that. Another glove. A glove might be an opportunity. If you see something here that's showing up a lot, but it's not similar, make a note of it, because maybe that would be something that you should search for separately, right? Like the actual glove. Another sponsored product here. You get the idea. Okay, we have enough now where we can do our job. So the first thing I want to look at after I have ranked this in descending revenue, and then I have gone through and I've removed any dislike objects or products, is I want to look at the brand category, and I want to see, is this a brand-driven product? And what a brand-driven product is, basically that means that there's one or two big brands that are selling a vast majority of all the sales. So like this one here with almost 13,000 reviews, Hertzco, obviously they are dominating. They're selling, just a ton, over $500,000, almost $600,000 a month in gross revenue, which is pretty impressive for a $16 product. Now that, as you can see, by the way, our price has dropped down quite a bit from our $20 range, right? There's only one here that's selling for more than for $20, at least here, right? And this one way down here. We'll talk about that later, but kind of interesting, right? So this is kind of, it's on the borderline of brand driven, but there's plenty of other sellers doing more than $2,000 a month. So it's not 100% brand driven. It's just something like, this is a very competitive product, right? So Pet Neat is another big brand. You know, you can kind of get the idea. This doesn't look like there's one brand dominating like multiple different versions of their pet brush, right? So it's not a brand driven product, although it is a very competitive product. Okay, the next thing I want to look at here is the price, which we started talking about already. This is dipping definitely below our average $20, right? Average price based on just these ones is like $14. So this is probably not a great product to go source based on the fact that the price is going to be, your sale price is going to be too low, which we already talked about. It's very competitive, as you can see over here, but here's where it really shines a light on how competitive it is. They're pretty good products in terms of rating, right? 4.5 to 5 stars. But check out the review count. So we'd like to look for products that have, most of the competitors have like less than 500 reviews. That's an arbitrary criteria again. But the reason that's important is that if you know, it's going to be very difficult as a brand new seller or even a brand new product as an existing seller to go up against, you know, these guys that have 12,000, 6,000, 21,000 reviews, even 1,000 reviews. So the average number of reviews here is huge. This is a very tapped out product. I would absolutely not recommend going after this product, but this is just an example of how to use this tool. And then, but I also want to show you, so you're not just relying on this kind of success score without understanding it. This is a bad rating, obviously, and it kind of tells you why. Okay, so that is how you use this tool. So now the trick is going and just, you know, going through this, and you're going to spend some time, right, and try to find some products. This is an exercise of being patient, of being methodical, not getting too emotionally invested or rushed into a product, and just going and finding the ones that jump out, okay? So then I arbitrarily had this little spreadsheet, and you can edit this as much as you want. Did it pass my X-ray? No. This one also did not pass. Same thing, too many reviews. Your reason here, if you want to really put more information here on the end, you can write that. But if you're passing it up, I wouldn't even fill out all that data, right? Just if you're passing it up, you're just passing it up, okay? I just put that for my own notes. That's kind of the spreadsheet. So, but by the time you're done, you're going to find some really cool products that meet the criteria, and you're going to get excited about it. And what I would do if this were a good product is I would just highlight this entire row in yellow. And that reminds me, and obviously this would say yes, and this would be empty. And then you could put the rest of the information here. So then you could sort this column D by yeses, and you just have all the products that look really cool. And then the magic starts where you can start looking at sourcing these products. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, go ahead and look for us on our website. That's badassbusinessbuilders.org. When you go to badassbusinessbuilders.org, you can actually create a free membership. It's totally free. We're never going to charge money for it. And we've got tons of training content. These are all just drop-down menus full of videos that we filmed. Some of them are, you know, a couple years old, but a lot of the stuff is very, very valid. And I'm, you know, updating some video content right now. There's all kinds of cool training information here. If you already have an existing Amazon business and you're looking for help in managing your inventory, check out www.sostock.com. This is an amazing tool that we've built that is a logistics and inventory management software. And this gives you all kinds of data with videos and stuff. And we're actually launching this product now. It is going to be the gold standard for managing warehouses and suppliers and inventory and forecasting and all kinds of cool stuff to give you more control over your Amazon business. So check that out. We're also on Facebook, and I will see you next time.